Hi, my name is Haley Flack, and today I'm going to be sharing the book Separate is Never Equal, Sylvia Mendez and Her Family's Fight for Desegregation. This book is by Duncan Tunatu. This book received the Pura Bellebre Award and the Robert F. Seibert Medal. This book is about a little girl named Sylvia who was 9 years old. She is confused of why she can't go to Westminster, the school closest to her, but instead has to go to the Mexican school that is further away from her home. Her father, Mr. Mendez, fights with Mr. Marcus, a lawyer, for desegregation in these schools. This book contains the themes of the overlooked fight for civil rights for Latinos, equality, equity, and tenacity. My favorite part in this book is on pages 32 and 33. This part reads, during the appeal, the Mendez family received support from the League of the United Latin American Citizens, the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, the Japanese American Citizens League, the American Jewish Congress, and other organizations. These groups sent letters with information relevant to the case and asked the judge to rule in favor of the Mendez family. Sylvia was amazed that people of different backgrounds and from different parts of the country who had never met her family were getting involved in the case and trying to help them. On the next page, her mother says, when you fight for justice, others will follow. I love that these pages contain the unity of different communities, cultures, and races standing up and fighting for what's right, even though that it does not directly affect them in that situation right then and there. This book is culturally relevant today in history, and you will see that on the very first page. On the very first page, Sylvia has just started going to Westminster. This is kind of a flash forward before the story starts. And so a little boy yelled at her, go back to the Mexican school. You don't belong here. While we don't currently have schools and for Mexicans or desegregation, you can tell that this quote is relevant because Sylvia, what her ethnicity, she was a Mexican, but she was born in America. She was an American. And so, just like many people today, that boy was judging her on the way she looks and using his biases and stereotypes to judge her. And many people do that today, especially with Latinos in America. My strategy for this book is to teach equality and equity and the difference between those two things. So the strategy that I'm going to use is called a Band-Aid method. I learned about this Band-Aid method from a blog from Pinterest. And so what you do is you hand out different injuries to all your students, ranging from a concussion, a gashed open forehead, to a scrape on the knee. They read those, they think about what they would need to help in that situation if they had the injury, but then you hand everyone a Band-Aid. And the goal is for the kids to recognize that a Band-Aid's not going to fix all of their problems. And there's your opportunity to distinguish equality and equity among those situations and other real life situations in the world. This book is appropriate for grades 1 through 4, but I definitely think that you could use it in upper elementary and even in middle school by using it to introduce civil rights cases. You could read this book to introduce civil rights cases and have your students research another civil rights case. I think that this is an awesome book that should be included in every classroom library to teach what is very overlooked, the Latinos' fight for civil rights.